It's a yes, huh? All right. Well, I just wanted to call and say I missed you tonight. I was hoping you were gonna come over, but I'm praying for
I
tomorrow.
got a little I got depressed.
Oh, that's okay. Happy you got some sleep.
I'm a little tired.
But I miss you. I wish you were. I wish you were in my bed right now, cuddling up next to me. You sure? You sure you don't want me to send you an Uber? You don't want to come over and we'll have brunch tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to be a bit for that. Tired real quick. So good morning. Bye.
Okay. Well, there's no traffic. Think about it. Bye.
Hey, well, hey, bye.
Goodbye. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Say, hey, if a young black male were walking up the street towards them, when statistically speaking, even if they haven't experienced at the hands of a black person, statistically speaking, they're more likely to get assaulted by a young black male, the other category. Would it be racist if they made a decision solely based on the numbers or their references? You know, based on, I don't know, Fox 5 News or wherever they're drawing their references from.
So, I mean, like, you can't say, and you can't say for certainty, but I think the majority of those cases, right, it's gonna matter, like, where you are, like, where your location is. You know, I grew up in an area where I would cross the street if I was walking at night and there was anybody, I don't care what you look like.
Hello, please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Hey Emma, it's John.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
You know, but the thing is, let the statistics tell it, right? And I can see an argument for statistics being bullshit, but let the statistics tell it. Young black males, right, between the ages of 16 and 25, and you look at it, being most likely to assault people. And based on what you said, essentially, I trust that now.
black men are being over-policed, are being, not even thinking that they are legitimately, um, legitimately detained. They're being criminalized. You can't even get to the police station in one exact time. They're being harassed. They're being, completely mistreated by the system. Like a lot of times there's all sorts of whether they're not doing proper investigations or they're trying to push on people or they're given with harsher sentences. It's like that's indicative of what how racism actually affects the society. It's not just one-off like, oh, you gonna be a cracker, you gonna be white trash, you're racist. Like
that's more of the systematic racism that everybody speaks of, right? That's where you're going. Just real quick, Mike Allen, are you there?
Hey, Doctor. Cool. This is Communist. Put me in the queue. I've been listening for hours.
That's what I was going to ask, and then Beaver can answer this too. Do we concede that the black community is over policed or not? That's to the white people.
no.
Beaver? No.
Concede nothing.
Please go where the crime is. Do you think that we get the same sentences for the same crimes?
And you get restorative justice and CRT DEI justice. You're lucky. African Americans are the most lightly touched population in the country. Judges, Democrat, progressive.
Why are you making all these fake Trump rooms?
What do you guys have a monopoly on President Trump? You sound like a Schwartz saying that's weird. Did you become black, Beaver? Are you black now? That sounds weird that you're saying it's weird. That's weird.
Why did you, bro? You had like 5 different President Trump rooms, bro. Like, was you trying to sabotage this room or like what's...
Sabotage. Motherfucker, it's called artwork. Look at my PTR. Every picture, every video, every room. It's called motherfucking art. And you are some harsh critics. Wherever an artist goes, critics spring up like flowers. You know how that works? If you're a great artist, you're going to get some pushback by critics. It's called artwork. Hello?
Anyways, some weird stuff going on.
He strongly dislikes Pepe, so that's the reason why.
It's all related to that. Okay.
No, I don't dislike anybody. I don't like the fact that this fucking faggot in Scottsdale named Peter or fucking Terry or Scott or David or Michael, whatever this faggot's name is, has taken over the Pepe brand. He's not motherfucking Pepe. Kekistan was liberated years ago, and Kekistan will always be free, no matter what this Corsican faggot midget says. Long live Kekistan and long live free Pepe.
You making 5 President Trump houses.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with you being a harsh critic and not a creator artist like John Kitover? I mean, take your criticism, go to the art gallery, and buy a piece of art, you fucking broke-ass farts.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's giving RFK realness.
I'm not RFK.
Well, who here is double vaccinated, triple boosted? That's what we got to figure out. Who here has buyer's remorse on the double vax, triple boost? Because Fauci's been outed as a domestic terrorist. That's obvious. Bill Gates, domestic terrorist.
Yeah, but you wanted to speak on the topic, right? So go ahead and say what you were going to say earlier.
Okay, everybody, this is Communist. I'd like to quickly introduce myself before I answer the question. Can black people be racist? I myself have worked with African Americans for over 20 years. I've learned a lot. I think there's a lot of metaphysics when it comes to working with African Americans. And when it comes to African Americans being racist, let's be honest, they're one of the most entitled racist minority groups in the planet. They are so entitled, so privileged. This white structural racism is a lie, but black structural privilege is a truth. They have essentially gamed the system. They are the biggest welfare recipients, the biggest complainers, and when it comes to ICE getting the Mexicans out, they were militant. Get them the fuck out before they take more of what we got. That's what they said. Brown, white, black, yellow, purple, green, it don't matter. Blacks hate everybody. They want what they think they're entitled to, which is free shit. But the truth of the matter is the motherfucking country's broke. So if you think free shit is going to continue for years and decades to come, no. The best years of Black America is 20 years ago. because there ain't no more free shit. We spent it all. So you ain't getting reparations, you ain't getting HUD housing vouchers, you ain't getting SNAP benefits, you ain't getting fucking tax credits for this and that, and you got to pay your taxes. And if your ass don't come into compliance, your ass going to jail. And guess what? Capital execution is coming back. Every African American on death row, they're getting executed. 2 shots in the head, 2 shots in the heart. That's one more bullet than you're entitled to. You lucky, because now we broke.
That's the veterans of America.
I have to say, that was the funniest I've ever heard John Kitover.
I want to read you the statistic. It says, yes, extensive research and government data show that Black Americans experience significantly higher rates of police stop searches, use of force, and arrests relative to their share of the population compared to white Americans.
What statistic is
The best of John Kitover.
That's just me typing in Google.
It was all worth it.
And the AI overview. That's what the AI overview is.
Okay, let me ask them.
What if they commit?
That's so scary. That's who we are as a society. 9 out of 10 people, when they want to know something, that's what they rely on. They Google something and they go off of the AI representative. That's crazy.
I think though somebody brought this into the room the other day, and we were talking about Baltimore City. I don't remember who it was, but Baltimore City, the Department of Justice did an entire, and I'll keep bringing this up because it was news to me. I mean, I just didn't know Baltimore City was that bad, but Baltimore City's insane structural racism was exposed through the Department of Justice, explaining how many times Black Americans were over-policed, harassed, terrorized. They said within a period of I think it was 5 years, they gave 4 or 5 years, they had thousands and thousands and thousands of cases of people being wrongly just arrested and brought to, and then there was no charges that could even be held. Like, you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands. So, and that's just, I mean, so this is the whole point. The whole point is that we can't think that Black Americans aren't going to be overly policed. I think that is like it's a delusion at this point. We look at and we understand where we were as a society when, I don't know how old most of you are, but when I would say at least your parents were alive, people that you know that are still walking around today were born when a time where an interracial relationship wasn't allowed, when you had there are people that are still walking around today that lived through shit where white mobs would go into communities across America and attack Black people. We're talking racial terrorization. We're talking lynching. We're talking Jim Crow. We're talking. It doesn't matter. And what did the police do? Again, the police were, and I like to remind everybody because the people like to sort of forget that this is the origin of it. They were meant for slave patrols, and there's no people. They were meant for a very specific thing. So the idea is still built in there. So the police have just been the worst at it, right? And they've backed just regular Americans just going around assaulting, terrorizing, dehumanizing, killing, murdering, lynching Black Americans. It's just like, come on, we already know that that's still a problem. I don't think that a reasonable person would disagree.
What does over-policing mean to you?
Over-policing...
Can you wait one second, because I asked Gemini something. I asked Gemini, as of 2025 and 2026, is there an attack on white people, in particular men? And it says... indicates that concerns regarding reverse discrimination or anti-white and anti-male bias have grown within specific political alignments, particularly among conservative and Republican demographics. Studies examining long-term trends note that while cultural and political debates frequently focus on identity politics, institutional disadvantage, and diversity frameworks, these debates reflect ideological and political polarization against white men. Statistically, white men continue to hold a disproportionate share of leadership positions in corporate management, government, wealth accumulation, and higher education. This structural reality runs counter to the premise that the demographic is facing systemic disenfranchisement or targeted destruction.
All right, now summarize that in your own words.
Okay, so there's attack on white men.
That's not what that said. What it said is that there's a. What it said
Let her
is that
summarize it
there's
so we can see her level of intelligence.
Yeah, well, she's just
I'm retarded.
that.
Prove it to us.
I just told you I'm retarded.
Okay, somebody else.
Not her proving that she's retarded. This is getting crazy.
Yeah, that's what that proved, because it literally just said that there is a concern. There's concerns because there's a delusional ass conservatives who want to victimize themselves in the same way that Daddy Trump has done, and then they want to equate actual, real, like hundreds of years of institutional racism based on chattel slavery and the dehumanization and weaponization of a person's skin color, to which, by the way, we still currently have. Somebody could do a room about that. There's current black lynchings that are being done now. There's been quite a few of them as of very recently. So racism, huh?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, are you done yet, JJ? I was gonna.
Yeah. No. I was just saying that.
Okay.
Racism is still very much this black lynchings going on in 2026.
You interjected Trump's name into this. Like we haven't heard Trump's name all night for the most part. Do you think you're saying that Trump add to the structural racism of this country? That's my question to you, JJ.
Absolutely, 100%.
You're gonna have to know now, just real quick, if you can. Can you tell me how? Like, how does he add to the structural racism of the country?
Well, first and foremost, you can look at the reversal of DEI when literally he literally did that. It's actually this white women which are literally the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. That he did it because he likes to play pigs.
Wait, so how is it racism with white women?
That wasn't his intention of doing it. His intention of doing it was to be able to continue propagating that black people are not earning their positions, and like the same from Charlie Kirk,
But attention is DEI is truthful racism.
DEI is racist.
I agree with Alan that Trump hates white people. What do you think about that?
No, Trump does not hate white people. Trump is white, and he glorifies anything that provides him with wealth.
JJ, do you believe black people? Wait, I want to get back. I guess it's a great question. What the hell does it mean? What does over-policing even mean? Like, what does that mean?
It means exactly what it is. If you have police that disproportionately, if something happened, it's likely the black person. People where police will disproportionately surveil and suspect and enforce bullshit coercive measures in communities or on our black Americans. So you have more interactions through stereotypes. You have more, the whole driving while black, for example. You have the pretext for what would include a stop. There was a thing in New York, the stop and frisk, right? So there would be more just people walking, more pedestrian stops, and you still see this to this day. There's this judge. I don't know if he's on TikTok. I don't know where I see it, but he's this badass fucking judge who is so awesome, but calling out the racist bullshit. And he'll say like, I watched how many of these racial cases can actually make it to this, and the judge will be like, hold on, wait a second, no, this is a bullshit charge. This is walking while black. That's what that is. And then he'll say, thrown out, get out of here, and then he lets people know like what it is. That's over policing.
Looks like calling the police for a check. Like, if crime happens and somebody calls the police, the police come and they assist the white person, and it's a black criminal. Like, that's over policing. You're talking about like unprompted engagement. from citizens. It's just the police observing something.
Not from citizens. Well, upon citizens. So you have also, besides the over policing of the concentration when police would get their beat or whatever it's called, right? Where they'll patrol specific areas. Oh, we're Black Americans.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because of the origin of what do you think? What do you think that is? Is there anything, Mike? Is there anything that you could think of that happened within the last 40 years? Anything that could happen? Oh, was it? Was that what?
Yeah, it's like this. There's been a lot of carjacking.
Okay,
Smith and Johnson Street.
No red summers, no Tulsa race massacres, no housing and discrimination.
In that neighborhood, when you work in the bigger police presence, that there's a crime. Just on that area.
I have no idea if this is true. I don't know if this backs up anybody's claim, but is it true that the Black community calls 911 on their own more than anything? FEMA, or I don't know. So like if they're calling for their obviously calling police to come police their neighborhood, what do you say to that? I don't even know if that's true or not, but I always hear that on stages. So what would you say, like, if like the community's asking police to come help? I don't know. Is that over policing at that point? I don't even know how that works.
Well, no, I wouldn't consider that over policing if they're calling for help. They're calling for assistance.
So they're
If somebody's calling for assistance.
Yeah, Mike, I've heard that before. I didn't know if that's true or not. But okay. But are you confirming that or not? I don't know, Mike.
No, that's what you're saying. He's asking.
Okay, I thought you were confirming.
You're saying that they're calling for the
Yeah.
Like FEMA, if they got rid of police in the Black neighborhood, like no more police in neighborhoods that are predominantly Black, that'd be better or worse for that community?
I think that it really depends on the community, and it depends on what a cop is meant to do as an officer, what they're meant to uphold. They're supposed to serve and protect, but stopping and frisking, and that's the over policing and stereotyping. Well, but are we still? But Mike, are you really going to are we talking about this? Like, we don't. You really think that there is like even an equal level? But you're really going to look at U.S. history and understand where we are right now. You're going to really think that the police institution has done it equally. Like, I think that I don't even really know what to say to anybody that would even think.
That's the problem.
Causation versus correlation. That's the whole point of over policing. More scrutiny when you have a bunch of people in a smaller area, and then it's also the type of crimes like victimless crimes, bullshit crimes.
Scrutiny somehow turns up more murder victim bodies that they have to have for prosecution.
No, we're not talking about murder. We're talking about, were the 11,000 cases of no reason for people to be arrested. Like, what are we talking about here? Just that's the over policing.
You really think the community would be better off with zero police?
I don't think. Well, no, I don't think zero police. And it depends on the area. Like, I was born and raised in a city. It used to be an all-American city. Then also became the murder capital of New York State. Okay, and not even 30 minutes outside of the murder capital of New York State, there are jurisdictions that have zero police department. It depends on where it is, right?
What about Timothy?
I don't know.
Yeah, Timothy.
No police in Southside Chicago. How would that fare?
No, that's not a bright idea. But this is my thing, man. Y'all say it's a lot of crime in these neighborhoods, so they gotta bring the police in. They bring the police in, and the crime is still high, but yet the reports of police brutality, over policing, all that still rises. So what is y'all really doing? You're not doing nothing. other than policing black folks.
So not we, but the police aren't helping the situation, is what you're thinking, Timothy, right?
Not efficiently enough. Not efficiently enough. If there's still massive crime that's supposed to be going on, and y'all bringing in all these police, but yet all there's police reports and brutality, people complaining about police brutality, like that shit. Y'all not doing shit, bro. Police not doing shit.
Can I ask you, when you had your incident, you don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but with that police officer, do you feel, obviously you probably feel like it wasn't justified, but did you participate in that at all, if you know what I mean? Like, did you egg it on or what, man? You know?
No, not at all. I was false identified as somebody. Like, he falsely identified me to be somebody, and when I was like basically kind of like not resistant, but I'm like, bro, what are you arresting me for? He kind of just got physical with me off the jump and just kind of slammed me on the ground. Which, I mean, when you watch videos, most police officers, if you don't comply with them verbally, they feel like they have the right to just slam you on the floor. You know what I mean? That's typically
that's fucked up, bro. I'm sorry. I'm from a white person. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm not racial signaling. I just want to ask the white supremacists in the room. So, I mean, the real question to me is, like, is this a race problem? Right? Because when you look at these stats, like 13 to 50, like 13% of the population does 50% of the crimes, shit like that. Like, the question is, I think for a lot of white people, is this a race problem? But if you really start looking at this shit, you will see it's not. Because let me ask you this one question to the white supremacists or anybody else. Why do wealthy black neighborhoods have almost zero crime?
What makes you think there are white supremacists in this room?
Yeah, I reject that premise. We gotta sort that out.
Why do you say that?
Yeah. What makes you think that? Don't get quiet now, William. Come on now.
Are you just presuming that they're in here?
Wow.
I mean, everybody's on the stage. Maybe white supremacists.
He's the only verified one. I mean, unless he's talking to him, I don't know.
Okay, you're just trying to distract from the point. Do you believe, let me ask you very simply here, communists, I'm just trying to learn. Do you believe that this is a race problem? Like, when we look at the stats and we say, hey, 13%.
No, it's not a race problem. It's a good versus evil problem. We got people out in this world that are committing evil at scale. And then we got cops that even commit evil at scale. So it's really, the question is, do we want to continue funding the biggest gang on the planet, which is our police departments? But the truth is, you know, in my opinion, the situation is actually kind of perfect in a way, because now we have body cams and we have cell phone cameras. So much of the police abuse is over. Talk to any cop that was a cop in the 70s, 80s, 90s. They wouldn't want to be cops today because everything is recorded. Every conversation you have with your partner is recorded. You used to be your own little judge, jury, and executioner with your fellow, patrolmen in your squad car, and there was no recordings of your abuse. And if you didn't give respect on the street, the cops didn't give you respect. It's everybody understands the laws of physics, cause and effect, opposite and equal reaction. So take your political bullshit, take your progressive, pluralistic, Democrat, socialist, communist, cocksucker, faggot, pussy bullshit, tuck it up that clit, tuck it up in that pussy, tuck it up in.
Let me ask you a question.
William, real quick.
Follow up.
William, the question you shouldn't be asking anybody but the people that have been speaking, like Bima or other people, your question, because your question is it a race thing or is it basically a class thing? And you're saying that the crime is happening in communities that are not wealthy, which would be poor. So now Bima is saying that it's over policing in the black community specifically, and you're saying it's a class thing, not a race thing. Then now the over policing has nothing to do with racism.
Of course it does, because both could be true, Mike. You can't. They don't have to be separated.
Right, but he's trying to ask us about it. Yeah. But really, what he's saying is that you need to justify the over policing because it's not a racial thing.
Yeah, that question was almost more directed.
Well, I mean, you could experience over policing and under policing at the exact same time. So you could see where these low level crimes are being over policed, but then the homicides are being completely under policed. Nobody's even finding out who did the shit. So look, man, that's completely lazy cop out. This is.
I don't think there's over policing.
These are really complex social problems, and to try to frame it as like good versus evil is just a lazy cop out.
William, I don't believe there's over policing. The police are needed where they're needed. They go where they're needed.
That's not true, Mike. That's completely not true. Because literally, there's so many.
Described it. There's no police.
Well, let me describe it.
You're putting words in my mouth. What I'm saying to you that when you try to frame these complex social problems as like a good versus evil, you're just copping out. It's really lazy.
Because it said a wealthy black community. Is there over policing there? The answer is no.
I didn't say anything about that. I said that why is there no crime why is there very little crime in the wealthy black communities while there's tons of crime in the super poor white communities? It shows that proves that there's not a race problem, which you agreed with. I'm just calling you out and saying that you're completely lazy because you don't actually want to engage with the actual causes of it. Labeling a demographic or a social issue like good versus evil, it just totally ignores the economics, the geography, the incentive structures behind it.
Get his ass, William. Cook that nigga, William.
Again, you're not.
Cook that nigga, William.
Calling people evil requires zero fucking work, zero research, and it offers zero solutions. You can't write a law or build a policy to change a human soul, but you can change economic conditions and neighborhood resources, right? People don't break the law because they woke up wanting to be a movie villain or because they're black. They do it because out of economic desperation, they're pressured by locally by their peers, or they don't have legal options.
But yeah, you're preaching to the choir, and that's not my position. And that's not what I'm saying. BEMA is saying that they specifically over police black communities because they're black. I'm saying no, that's not what they're doing.
Huey,
you want to go?
Yeah, Huey, you're up. Go ahead, Huey.
Hey, so I'm sorry. I wanted to come up earlier when somebody paused the conversation to ask the question about what does over-policing mean, because I actually do think that was a very good question. I think something can be reconciled here pretty quickly in principle in order for us to get to answering that question quite clearly. So I think we can all agree that, like, if there are criminals in a community, they should be arrested and caught, right? Perfect policing would look like something like for every criminal that commits a crime, he's caught by the police, right? That would be perfect. Good policing. Under policing would be something like for every crime that's committed, 4 to 5 or some kind of disproportionate number will go unsolved, unchecked. That's under policing to some degree, you could say, right? And then over policing would be the opposite of that, which would be for every criminal that's caught, you have a false imprisonment, right, of regular citizens. I think the number that's interesting to look at when we talk about over policing is the exonerations and false imprisonments and false convictions of given people putting race aside. If there's a community that seems to be experiencing false imprisonments, false convictions and exonerations, then we can, I think, reasonably come to the conclusion that perhaps the police aren't being as diligent, as careful, or as rigorous as they should be, right, in order to actually catch the actual criminals. What they're essentially doing is possibly just stereotyping, or possibly doing shortcuts just to, I don't know, meet quotas, or whatever the reasons are. That's what we're going to ultimately mean when we say over-policing. And the question is every community across America equally over-policed, or white people represented proportionally when it comes to false imprisonments, exonerations, and false convictions, right? Are Spanish people represented in the same ways? And we can start to sort of like disaggregate all of this data for any given specific populace, any specific like urban area, if you want to do this. But like just quickly look up who's overrepresented when it comes to false convictions.
I think that's exactly. I couldn't agree more with that. let's directly address the reality here that there is racial bias in day-to-day policing, and I'll prove that by one question. I mean, you tell me, Thomas, do you really think a white driver in a wealthy suburb gets searched at the same rate for a broken taillight as a black driver in an underfunded zip code?
There's an easy answer for this. I don't know why this is even a question.
The talk isn't that the answer to that is going to come down to something like the classified or sort of like the multiplied, right? And I have no problem with this, but like, you also have to make a case for that. I just wanted to sorry, I didn't get a chance to finish. I just wanted to say, when Timothy was asked what happened in his situation, he pointed out that like he was essentially profiled. He wasn't the guy they were looking for, and the police essentially jumped straight into sort of like trying to physically apprehend him. I think that's perfectly legitimate, despite the fact that like kind of having this conversation lighthearted with levity. Don't mind that. I'm just saying that like Timothy's story happens far more often than you would think for more black people in America. That's all.
Yeah, but to answer William's question, the cops probably be more apt to pull over the broken headlight or tail light in the poor community than a poor black person driving, because they're thinking, oh, it's, you know, I have a lawful reason now to stop this car. And if I smell marijuana, maybe I'll see some drugs, and then I'll be able to do a search, and then I'll get a big bus, and I'll get a bunch of cocaine, and I'll get, you know, I'll look good for the sarge. Like, versus the pattern of the white guy who's driving his, you know, his Mercedes, and it's broken. And he's like, you know, fuck it. There's nothing in it for me.
Do you mind if I respond to you?
Go ahead, but then I have to get James the Queen to go.
Because he came up here talking about how
I'll be quick.
he came up here talking about how that black people are most entitled and complaining. Basically, that black people are lazy or something. That's not what you came up here saying. And then now that we're pushing back, saying, you know what, this doesn't really add up. You're saying that black people are whining for handouts. I'm saying to you that you're just trying to ignore real problems, right? So most safety net recipients are working people. They're children.
Communist is crazy. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's like an actor, a shtick, or a cartoon. I don't really know how to describe him. I mean, he speaks a lot of truth, but also he says shit, and it's part of a shtick, so it's hard to tell sometimes when he really
and that's what makes me sick, is just like these conversations that people, you know, they don't actually want to face and learn anything. They just want to come in here and get clout. And so, communists, I see right through you, man. You just want to come up here and kind of like get attention. I just think that's really desperate.
Wait, let me get the projection mirror out for you, William. I'm going to roll the projection mirror out, William. Projection
If I told you he was running for office in Chicago?
Yeah, I would, because the least among us are the people who lead us, right? We are absolutely led by the absolute.
Don't make any assumptions. You know what they say about men that make assumptions, William. Get that projection mirror out and activate the projection detection system. Excuse me? That's a projection. You're projecting onto me.
Anybody who would vote for somebody like you is mentally fucking ill, must have 18 to 30 different kinds of fucking mentally.
You're projecting onto me, William. You're projecting on. This is pure projection.
He's got at least 30 cell phones in his room, and they're all hooked up like Hannibal Lecter, monitoring all these different rooms and shit. It's quite a sight. Go to his YouTube, check it out.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat. I'll put a link in the chat. Yep, you can watch me do yoga in my underpants, so you can increase your flexibility and your strength. Go ahead, William, Dr. William.
He's super intelligent, though.
Let me ask you a question. So, is expecting your local tax dollars to pay for decent public schools and safe streets, is that asking for a handout? Is that people complaining?
No, William the Wigger, that's a hand up, not a handout, William the Wigger. Listen, William, I was wondering, is there such a thing as a white N-word? Can you be a white N-word? That's the question of the night.
You got backed into a corner, and now you're not
backed into a corner. This dump truck's ready to dump. William, you are retarded. Take your stupid suit. Take your
Oh, you read my mind, Jay. Huey, ask a question, then we'll go to Jay.
So the Huey.
So I don't want to ask a question and then like prolong my speaking time here. Oh, that's fine. Oh, because I wanted to respond to what Beaver said, so I guess you can.
Or yeah, whatever. Respond. No, go ahead, Huey.
Okay, no, I'll try and be super quick. So Beaver, in what you pointed out about like the tail light hypothetical or thought experiment there, I understand it, but I think there's like. Ironically, there's something that's counterintuitive. If I'm a police officer and I'm in a rich neighborhood and somebody has their tail light out, I should be more suspicious of the person who can afford to easily get it fixed than the person in the like poor community who it makes perfect sense why their tail light is likely to be out, right? And if like the only reason why I'm really stopping it is to look for marijuana, then there's a presupposition there that's I would say is a bit of an unhealthy presupposition on my part as a police officer in a poor community to think that like the tail lights out, therefore must be marijuana because only bad people, right, ultimately have car problems such that like they would need to have those car problems rectified by selling drugs. Like something kind of doesn't make sense there for me that like I would stop the person in the poor community with the tail light out, suspecting that they're doing drugs or selling drugs or doing any of that, and they wouldn't get the tail light fixed. Like drug dealers, like smart drug dealers, would get their tail light fixed so that they don't get stopped. If that makes sense, right? Like.
Let me put it this way. A cop that's just started, rookie cop, and then his first 2 years, he stopped, let's say, 40 taillights in a Mercedes in a nice neighborhood, and 37 of the time out of 40, it's been total, like, yeah, it was just a broken taillight that just happened, and he just writes it up, the ticket, and it's like, okay, go get it fixed, or he gives them a warning. Versus the 40 times in the other neighborhood, so let's say 10 times there's been drugs or nefarious criminal, cocaine or something. So it's just after a while, he's like, that's what he learns. He learns what to look for him to score a bust.
Actually, I didn't even think about that, Beaver. Do you think that's the question? Is that wrong or not? Because like,
it's not, I don't think it's wrong or right. It's just the way it is. Like,
how can you say it's not right or wrong? You're talking about cops intentionally targeting something because they think that they could get. That's a structural. That's now inside of that's the corruption of the law enforcement. You are innocent to proven guilty. You need suspicion. You need beyond a reasonable doubt in order to even stop somebody. You're saying that we're gonna do it on the pretense, right? And this is what I'm talking about: over policing. This is exactly the proof. The pretense that it might lead to something else, and what it might lead to. But hold on. But the whole point is, listen to what you're saying. It's going to lead to a victimless crime. Somebody has pot on them. Oh well, hold on a second now, because now we're talking about how much you think that Black Americans do pot more than white Americans, right? You think that's what I'm talking about, though. This is what I'm saying. It's going to lead to
and they learn that they're going to get it.
So you think that Black Americans? This is what I'm talking about. This is trash. You think that it's drugs more than meth head white people or the I mean, like, come on, what are we talking?
No, and he said in a nice suburban neighborhood. Now, if you're out in the trailer park area where there's white trash, it's the same principle. They're going to pull those guys over because they're probably learned in Beckley, West Virginia, they're going to know that Skeeter and Jethro, they're in their wife beaters and their buzzed heads and they're tatted up and their shitty Pontiac and they're driving around with no taillights. Oh, let's get them. We have a lawful stop. We can pull them over and the search will be legal.
You're still, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're still talking about the same. You're still saying that you're going to target innocent people. When I say innocent, it's people that have not harmed, are not actively harming any person or person's property. Their mind.
That's how they operate. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right. And that's my problem. You're saying that there is no right or wrong. That is wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
It's racial profiling.
That's harassment.
So don't pull over the tail light is what you're saying. Or do it no matter what. I would say in a perfect world, yeah, you would pull them over no matter what. But they're after promotions. They're after their own self-interest.
So you have to identify that as a problem, Beaver.
He says it's not a prayer.
Institutional.
Exactly. And the other thing is when we talk about police and over policing, there's also the use of force or the lack of use of force. Because when police, and we've seen this how many times, when they're dealing with black, especially the youth. You see, like black kids, whether they treat black kids versus whether they treat white kids, it's like night and day. You know, like there is a when it comes to the way that white people are treated, particularly white youth, like there's so much more like patience, courtesy, and consideration and grace that's given. Whereas, like, they be treating like black kids like they're grown adults. It happens all the time, you know. And the brutalizing and the lack of the just acknowledgement of like that you're dealing with youth. So yeah, over policing rears its ugly head in a lot of different ways. But fundamentally, this is about why is it acceptable for there to be an unequal distribution of policing based on the color of the skin or predominance of the color of the skin or culture or race of the community? Point blank in a period. Oh, and last thing I'll say really quick is if we want to talk about crime, especially with everything going on with immigration and ICE and everything like that, a big part of like why that's going on is because they're saying, they're bringing in drugs. Well, guess who does drugs? And especially the good shit. Rich white people. So why are they not getting the fucking drug lords from the rich white communities? Oh, I wonder why. Maybe skin color?
Exactly. They're racially profiling. Let's not fucking beat around the bush. They want to do fishing expeditions against black people more often. If you don't see that, then it's just, like, are you dumb?
But
I mean, there's actually scientific studies too, like through Stanford University, and they show that scientists actually study hundreds of millions of traffic stops with this idea, so that when the sun goes down and the cops can't see the driver's skin color through the windshield, the stops of the black drivers, they just drop right away. So a broken taillight is even easier to see at night. So if it was just about the light, then the numbers wouldn't drop, right? So broken taillights exist in every single zip code. The difference is that in a wealthy suburb, a broken light gets ignored or gets a friendly warning. While in a black neighborhood, it gets used as an excuse for a fishing expedition, a full car search. But this isn't something that people are making up because they're victims.
But Bieber laid out he took out race with this latest example. And right, Bieber, you said that in a white trash area,
like Beckley, West Virginia, or whatever, it's going to be the same.
Exactly. So how do you square that? Because my question is it wrong to do the big, I guess, haul, so to speak, right, Bieber? That's kind of what the claim is. If you know you can get more out of the stop, and you just take race out of it, because it does happen probably in both neighborhoods. I know that's going to be triggering people.
It's probably more in the white neighborhood.
I know, I'm starting to think so too.
Opioids?
But do you think that's the part I'm wondering about? Is that the part that's wrong at all, or no? I'm just trying to.
I think the wrong. It's the people with the broken taillight that are doing the wrong, and they're getting pulled over more. It's like the Arab guy going through after 9/11. He gets pulled over going through TSA. He gets searched more often. He's paying for what other people did, and it's not fair. But that's life. Like, how else would you? It's not right.
I think either or is not right. A nigga sitting over here doing some damn opioids, and then you got your drunk drivers, the DWIs. I mean, both of y'all are problems because people are losing their lives based off y'all poor choices and behavior while y'all sitting here getting behind the goddamn wheel, and now you done jeopardize somebody else's goddamn life. I don't give a damn if it's opioids, DWI, carrying some damn drugs. Like, you're a harm to other people. So yeah.
The point for me is that, and I'm not trying to gotcha anyone. Maybe nobody is a racist in the room. I'm just trying to say that if the root cause is poverty. The root cause is a lack of opportunity for both groups, whether you're white, quote unquote, white meth head, or you're, in a tough black neighborhood. So what we should be fixing the local community instead of blaming a group.
Poverty has nothing to do with you guys' poor choices. You have rich people all the time making dumbass fucking choices. I mean, like, we're not gonna sit here and act like this is a fucking poverty thing. This is about fucking behavior. How people exhibit patterns. Then after a while, they start becoming addicts. You know what an addict is? Where a person got to keep going to rehab over and over and over.
Yeah, and William, you're doing that touchy-feely thing where you're like, well, it's not race or anything. It's lack of opportunity. We got to fix the communities.
How's that touchy-feely? That's just
so that's why I'm going to explain to you. So you say we got to fix the communities. We got to give them opportunities. We got to do this. We got to do that. But then you just kind of stop talking. How would you provide more opportunities? How would you fix the community?
Well, the first thing we would want to do, I've actually raised $2.5 million for disadvantaged youth in my hometown in Selma, Alabama. So that's one way that I've.
How did that $2.2 million get used?
How did it get used for youth mentoring through a YMCA of Selma? So we paired people in the community with at-risk youth. Okay, so saying poverty, and then let me get back to the last speaker, because if you say it's poverty, like if it's not poverty, it's behavior, you're just making a circular argument, right? Crime is a behavior. So saying it's behavior, it just describes what happened, not why it happened. Human behavior doesn't.
You just hear what you just said? You sound stupid. I have never. Wow.
Crime is a behavior, and you're just gonna call me stupid.
That's fine. And did you not hear me? Hold on, excuse me, Mr. William Will. Okay. If you would have heard me, if you would have heard me, ma'am, all that, I don't care. Look, if you would have heard me in the beginning of the conversation, right? I originally said. It doesn't matter if you're on opioids. It doesn't matter DWI. It doesn't matter if you get pulled over for a fucking tail light. They're all poor choices and behaviors. I literally said that, but here the fuck you go talking about some damn poverty.
I think they're two different. We're kind of like missing each other on the things. Like,
we're not missing anything. William's the only thing that's missing.
Because she's calling me stupid. Let me
I am.
Go into the argument. So when you claim that everything's just a poor choice, what are you doing really? You're just treating human beings like robots, aren't you? We just make these decisions in a vacuum. You're ignoring basic biology and real-world economics, man. When millions of people across completely different towns fall into the exact same trap, like the opioid epidemic, it's not a massive coincidence of millions of individuals suddenly deciding to make, quote, bad choices on the exact same Tuesday, ma'am. It happens because the environment, the trauma, the biological addiction, the predatory companies like pharmaceutical firms flooding low-income towns with addictive pills intentionally.
Isn't that what the fuck I just said without you doing all these damn semantics? I literally just fucking said that.
Ma'am, millions of people got addicted to opioids because doctors legally prescribed them pills while pharmaceutical companies lied about how addicted they were.
No shit. So we're just playing out. That's how people can become addicts, because after a while you keep taking the shit. Now after a while your fucking body's immune to it. Duh. I know that.
The fucking estrogen, ma'am, is just spewing all over the room.
And
I think you can calm down. I don't know why.
I'm supposed to have estrogen in my body. The fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, but you have low emotional regulation.
No, you just lack of intelligence.
Well,
that's all. That's okay. And comprehension as well.
Let's bring it back.
Don't help him. Don't help him.
We're not really
He wants to look. He wants to try to gaslight me, and just because he can't have the conversation.
You made a circular argument. You said,
sir, you made a circular argument because you pretty much repeated what the fuck I just said without you doing all these damn semantics.
Hey, listen. You just proved to everybody in the room that you can't lose.
You just proved to everybody that you can't handle the argument, because now you're trying to personally attack me. Come on now.
On an individual basis, people like you get slammed to the fucking ground like
okay. Well, hey, guess what? This is why people.
you hear that, Matt? He just became
It's not
white
because you're
supremacist.
black. It's because you're literally.
Look at it, Beaver. I think I triggered him, but he over here talking about emotional regulation. He over there talking about slamming somebody on the damn.
Welcome to the.
You don't sound like you're not regulating them emotions, sir.
You're gonna get slammed on the phone.
We can tell from the way that
You're the type of person that
you're
Is that
the
tuna?
kind of person who, when the police turn around and say that you're arrested, your reaction is, no, I'm not.
I was gonna say, like, if we're watching these,
Not only is he a racist, he's an abuser as well too. So shit, we got multiple charges we can put on your ass.
So I want to get back though. I want to get back to the over policing. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to. I have a question. Matt, I love you. I want to get over. I want to get back to. There was an element that I think that we didn't calculate, and that is discretion. If we were to take, because it's, even if we were to take those two different communities, right, there is a level of discretion that police officers are going to use in the white community than they